Well, it depends on sort of where it happens, and it teaches you a lot actually about conflict resolution. I was a speechwriter at the Pentagon when I moved down to Washington, D.C. for the Secretary of Defense there. And there would always be these big speeches coming up, sort of like the Munich speech that got so much press earlier this year. There would be these big
Yep.
keynote speeches where people would expect that, the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of State, whomever it was going to come out and really lay out U.S. policy. And a lot of times, U.S. policy is in flux. And within the Pentagon, it's in flux, and there's a lot of conflict between the different services. The Army may have one view, the Marines may have one view, the Navy, the Air Force another. And so the Office of the Secretary of Defense, they would say, go find out what the building thinks. And what the building thinks was a euphemism, was to go to every service, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, Coast Guard, on down the line, and find out what their policy position was, and then bring them all back to the Secretary of Defense, come up with a negotiated compromise solution, or in some cases, go back and you get to be the messenger telling people that they're going to get what they asked for, they're not going to get what they asked for. And so that was a fascinating process of, just seeing how policy is made, but also on how
Yeah.
conflicts get resolved and how sometimes they need to be resolved above your pay grade.